Welcome to the first 2009 edition of Red Meat. I'm Jim Garrity, along with Mark Hemingway. We want to thank you for joining us once again, and I want to let you know our New Year's resolution is to do more of these and not let them slide as they did during our holiday schedule. That's on me, folks, parenting. Anyway, we come back to the era of hope and change. I don't know about you, Mark. The world seems better and brighter and happier place as is.
I can feel it dawning already.
Exactly. Dawning and reflecting into your eyes in a blinding the backs of your retinas. We come to the world, and what makes the world a better place today? Well, all kinds of things, but among them, possible Senator Roland Burris. I think that's just, the Illinois is just a shining, shining cesspool on a hill for the entire country. Watching how just the replacement of one senator has just turned into this one new ethically scandalous joke after another, with now the indicted senator, or the indicted governor, named a guy who's now threatening a lawsuit against other state officials and Harry Reid, as I understand it, if they don't seat him.
Yeah.
Mark, you're following this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I believe that the law varies from state to state, as I recall, and what's going on here is they need a signature from the Attorney General to validate the governor's appointment, and the Attorney General is, of course, refusing to do that. But there's some legal question of whether or not the Attorney General has the legal authority to refuse to rubber stamp something that should just be rubber stamped. But it's turned into a real goat rodeo there. And then of course the new thing that just broke in the last day or two was Burris's prosecution of a man who was in all likelihood innocent, pushing for the death penalty even after one of his own deputy attorney generals resigned in protest, rather than prosecute the case any further.
Yeah, I mean, this was while he was running for office. Now, to his credit, he was running for office under the slogan, "I'll kill a guy before I admit I'm wrong." So, I mean, that was in keeping with his campaign promise.
It worked for Bill Clinton in '92.
There you go. Yes. No, but now we don't know that he was innocent. But anyway, we're finding out all kinds of interesting things about Roland Burris. The thing I found out right before New Year's Day is that he had sponsored a gun turn-in program in Chicago, and then later found out that he didn't turn in his gun. And when asked about it, he said, "I just didn't get around to it." So, New Year's resolution, Mr. Burris, turn in that gun if you haven't already. The other thing, which is kind of just the weirdest news item of the day, have you seen the mausoleum he's built for himself?
No.
Okay, no. This makes the Obama Roman columns from the convention look modest and tasteful. I guess he's 71 years old and not buying too many green bananas, and so he's decided he's already set up his mausoleum that lists all of his accomplishments, and they're saying, if he survives this appointment process, he's going to need to have put in there, U.S. Senator appointed by horrifically corrupt, slimy governor, creating massive political brouhaha, and they might run out of granite space by that point. But nonetheless, that's a little unusual. Now, my hope is that if we do find out that a guy was executed because he continued the prosecution, even in the face of evidence of him being innocent, that at the very least Burris would get him a mausoleum like that, something really fancy and nice, kind of a lovely parting gift, I guess you could say, for those who've departed. Mark, just any upshot to this? Is there any way this gets rectified or doesn't turn into this political black hole in the middle of the country?
I have no idea.
I'm sure everyone's taking pen to paper to say black hole is a terrible term that I should not be using. I meant the cosmic black hole, sucking everything into it. But I'm sorry. Carrie, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, no, I mean, I really have no idea. I mean, there's so many variables that go into this, legal or otherwise, and this really isn't an issue that's been, quite tested, in terms of its constitutionality and, just general legality in terms of state laws and things like that. So I don't see this ending any way, in any way that isn't ugly, in any way that doesn't have people happy, that doesn't have somebody unhappy about it. Even if a Burris somehow is denied a seat, there's going to be credible constitutional scholars and other people going, well, I don't know if they really had the authority to do that, and this sets a terrible precedent, and that's going to be a cloud hanging over the Senate. And then if he ends up in the Senate, then it's just at least several years of fun.
Yeah, thank goodness Blagojevich got his guy in there.
So it's not going to end with a bang. It's going to end with a whimper. This legal morass engulfing everybody, and I'm not sure who wins.
Well, the good news is we have the Obama Messiah 19 days away from taking office as of this recording, or I guess maybe 18 days. Today's the 2nd.
Yes.
So all kinds of good news for that. I really was inspired by what Obama said about this, which was Well, that's right. He's never said anything about this. He's, other than saying that he's saddened and that he doesn't, he wanted to see it resolved in some equitable, or he used some sort of very generic term, not calling for a new election.
Well, yeah, and it's very odd because Bobby Rush has been very outspoken. Former Black Panther and only man to ever defeat Barack Obama in an election, has been very outspoken about this and has been playing the race card like he's dealing blackjack in Atlantic City. And so I don't know who's going to stand up and be the guy that says, I'll be the Bull Connor and George Walsh in your eyes and say that this guy should not be appointed. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Well, it kind of it's entering a recurring pattern for Barack Obama. Now, I realize he is president-elect, he's not president. The mantra that they seem to repeat every 60 seconds over there is that the country only has one president at a time. So, Obama isn't going to step in and try to resolve the mess in Chicago. He didn't say much on the auto industry bailout. On the Mumbai massacre, he had 2 sentences of offering condolences. Isn't there something going on in the Middle East that he really hasn't had much to say on?
This is the one of the aspects of Obama that terrifies me. I mean, the man is just absolutely terrified of getting his hands dirty. I mean, isn't he? I mean, it's not just Hamas. I mean, if anyone could weigh in this Roland Burris situation, and not be called a racist and resolve it quickly, and have the authority and gravitas to make people back off, it might be the first black president.
By that you mean Clinton? Yes. Also Obama should too.
Right.
Our second
he
black
should
president.
probably stop him from entering the Senate as well.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, so and the fact that he won't wade in on state politics in Illinois where he came from. I mean, do you think he's really going to wade into the Middle East and get his hands dirty there too? I mean, I realize that's a bigger stage, and of course, he's going to want to make an impact and have a legacy, things like that. But I mean, thus far, we have seen no willingness on his part at all to do anything daring ever under any circumstances.
And I guess one of the things I'm kind of wondering, it seems to be kind of easily ignored as these, the Middle East just seems to, the flames burn higher and higher. Look, everybody knows a change is coming on January 20th, and we have a certain set of policies in place, and Israel knows, look, Bush is going to have their back no matter what happens. Will Obama? Kinda, probably, depending, if judging by what he said on the campaign trail. But that's not certain, and maybe they won't have that support. Clearly, the trigger for this was Hamas launching the rockets, but I'm willing to bet a certain sense of it, Israel is, look, let's do this while we can, because we don't know what the circumstance is going to be come January 20th. And you think of that, I'm pretty sure the United Auto Workers probably had that in the back of their mind during the auto bailout negotiations. Even Pakistan, probably wondering, if, look, Bush wanted to get pressure on us, but maybe there'll be less pressure from the next guy. Maybe there'll be more. There's this big cipher. There's this big question mark hanging over what are the U.S. policies starting January 21st. And Obama speaks in generalities. It's not like he's going to suddenly completely turn on Israel, but we don't know the details of the policies. And I kind of get the feeling this is exacerbating a lot of these problems in that there's no pressure for anybody to come to the table and concede on any major issue that Bush is managing right now, because everybody thinks they might get a better deal in 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, that's true. And Israel is certainly, of all the things of questions about where does Obama stand, I mean, there was no bigger question mark than that during the campaign. In fact, I wrote a very large article for National Review on Dead Tree about Obama's, Israel problems, and the fact that he was, perhaps opportunistically, but very much associated with a lot of shady Palestinian activists and characters. And on the other hand, during the campaign, he spoke very forcefully in favor of Israel. And in fact, at one point, when he was visiting towns in southern Israel, he said, "If someone was lobbing rockets at my daughters, you're darn right, I would feel the inclination to defend myself." And certainly that has a lot of impact on what's going on a lot of relevance for what's going on right now.
Earlier this week, we saw Barak quoting Barak. That is Ehud Barak quoting Barack Obama. We will see in 3 weeks if President Obama will be, singing the same tune. As a fan of Israel, I hope he does. I hope we're not seeing any massive changes. But that's, I guess, why we got to wait and see. Which is why you should be tuning into Red Meat in the not too distant future, because if he's changing his tune, we're going to be calling him out on it. I'm Jim Garrity for Mark Hemingway on Red Meat on National Review Online. Thanks very much for joining us.